Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, Man in the Wild. Just in my thoughts about this post-election drama, and this is part, what, 3? It's the third one I did. Um, First one had Van Jones and Scott Jennings, and then Stephen A. Smith had some half truths to say. So now we got Van Jones on the panel again. Um, and it's just when you listen to, how can I put this? Being an athlete, coach, and a ref, you learn a lot about somebody when they lose, right? You learn a lot about their character, when things don't go their way. Even if, for the sake of argument, that they're right about something, like they should have got a certain call or, something to that effect, and it really affected the game, how they walk away from that. Like all of it matters. And when you see somebody act like a fucking child when they lose, that exposes them, because losing and how people react really exposes who you are, whether good or bad. So here we go with the continuation of the exposing.
All right, everyone's here with me. Lulu Garcia-Navarro, can I start with you? I know you just spoke to the former House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, for your podcast, breaking her silence on what happened here. She was, of course, instrumental in pushing Biden to step aside, right? I mean, that's...
Of course.
Well, without giving too much away, she talked about the fact that this was a heartbreaking loss. She used that word. She also said that she has spoken to the vice president and that it was a very emotional conversation, that they're friends, and that conversation was difficult for both of them. We had a very wide-ranging and lengthy conversation about what happened, how she sees the path forward, and what her own plans are. And, that will come out soon. But, it is honestly a very, very difficult moment for the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi.
Absolutely. Van, so Nancy Pelosi using the word heartbreaking in her conversation with Lulu. Carville talking about a dark tunnel. Blame is starting.
Yep.
And there needs to be discussion among Democrats. So,
well, look, we spent $1 billion and elected Donald Trump. That's not a blame game. That's called accountability. And the people at the top of the campaign, the top of the party, have a lot of people pissed off at him because there were people who had suggestions. There were people who were saying, "Why are we doing this? Why this?" It was like, "Hey, we've got it. We've got it. We've got it. We've got this special magical computer formulation. We've tested every ad. Shut up and sit down and go back to work." And so people said, "Okay, well, I guess you're right." And then we got clobbered, clocked, knocked down, beat up, drugged down. And so people are mad, and they should be mad. And the people at the top are going to have to listen. There is a grassroots rebellion happening in this party, and it's coming to knock on the door of the people who are in charge of the party. That's not blame game. That's accountability.
Accountability. I mean, and I know you're a bill.
And it comes back to, whenever somebody like a Van Jones comes on there and wants to talk about accountability, like it's always that half accountability, right? It's always a half truth, and when you got a half truth, that means on the opposite side you got a half lie. You got an omission, which is a lie. Omission. Like when they're sitting there talking about mass deportations and all of this shit, like to my knowledge, this nigga worked for Obama. So if you work for Obama and he deported the most people, coined as the deporter in chief, like where's the accountability there? Right? Where's the accountability there? When you hear people sitting there talking about Trump doing this with the deportation, what's he gonna do with all that? Like, and you never step in and say, well, hey, when I was with Obama, we made a bunch of motherfuckers get up out of here too. All right, like it's possible. It's just blah 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 beep beep beep. But no, he doesn't say anything of the sort. You know why? Because it doesn't speak to it doesn't speak to the narrative, right? It doesn't speak to the narrative, which is, Trump bad, Democrats good.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
And I believe they technically, blew a few hundred million of that in the recent weeks, Andrew Yang, and now ended up technically maybe in debt a little bit.
I know maybe a little bit.
They did door
knock. I know maybe a little bit, $20 million in debt. $20 million in debt. You raise over $1 billion. How the fuck do you end up $20 million in debt? Unless you want some kind of bullshit. When you're paying millions of dollars to these damn celebrities to come to your spot, like, did any of them dollars go back to the actual people in any type of way? Fuck out of here, man.
They did traditional ads.
That's why y'all lost.
Advancing. They weren't listening to other ideas that people maybe like Van had.
For instance.
Yes, well, I mean, there should be accountability, and Joe Biden should not have run for a second term. There should have been a competitive primary in January. He should have dropped out in January and not July. And by the way, J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, they should have challenged him in January. We all know that they had campaigns in waiting, but instead everyone said, oh, Joe's going to be fine. Joe's going to be fine. He has a disastrous debate against Donald Trump, and then he drops out in July, and then everything is under the gun and in hurry up mode.
Because it's like I said, they wanted Kamala to sit on the back burner so that Joe can get in for that second term. And then she would sneak in under the 25th Amendment. I mean, that's the only sense to make of why this is the path that they took, right? And why when they eventually pushed Joe out, and why Joe gave a big fuck you by saying, I endorse Kamala Harris. Knowing that they didn't want her. No, ain't no way in hell she would be able to run for nothing like that. But once he put his name on it, his stamp on it, that shit was done. You can't bring that back. Unless you want to go into the whole diminished capacity, mental capacity shit. And that's, y'all don't want to go down that road.
The party lost a crucial period where they could have introduced the next generation of leaders to the American people, vetted and chosen a ticket that could have taken the fight to Donald Trump instead of Joe Biden fumbling the ball to Kamala down the stretch.
And Lulu, to this whole conversation, is there any sense from people you're talking to of what role they think it played? That there was a perception, certainly among some voters, that at least Kamala Harris had not been honest with voters about Joe Biden's true state. I mean, this kept coming up again and again. Now people are trying to figure out, well, what happened? Is that something you hear?
I mean, I think that one of the things that happened during this election is that when that disastrous debate with Joe Biden happened, I think there was a break in trust with the Democratic Party and the electorate. There was a feeling that there wasn't actually honesty about the condition of the president, and that people had been perhaps shielding him from the voters. I mean, if you think about the fact...
Man, listen, if you had people that were literally speaking up about the shit, but being, pushed aside and, ridiculed for it, that has to show you that the plan was to keep him in there as long as possible. That was the plan, right? But also a part of a plan when you're dealing with dumb motherfuckers that think other people are just dumb motherfuckers, right? They think whatever bullshit that plan that they got is going to just work. That we won't look at shit with our own eyes and use common sense. They don't expect that. So the common sense I see on that stage, man, ain't no fucking way Joe Biden is running shit right now if he can't even have a conversation on a stage. For that debate with Trump. It was clear at times he didn't even know where the fuck he was at. You understand? So yeah, that whole argument, I don't know. It kind of, yeah, it makes me like I don't believe y'all on that one. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't want no damn primary. Like I said, y'all wanted this shit to go as horrible as possible, or or you wanted to get him in and get her in under him, or if that couldn't be, if that wasn't what was gonna happen, make this shit as horrible as possible. Once you seen that it was about to be bad with Kamala, make this shit bad so that the next motherfucker ain't as bad. That the next motherfucker will actually be a beacon of hope. You know, like man, they you can tell when somebody loses what they focus on if they're gonna get better or not. Right? Whenever you fail at something, when shit don't go right, don't go, you know what I'm saying, all this other stuff. When you get coached on what you did wrong, how you accept that and how you actually perceive what you did wrong, you understand, that holds weight. And when you have the main thing that you do, whenever you do something wrong, is you hold firm to that shit like, damn, I fucked up. I could have taken a better path to the ball, right? I could have been stronger to shed that block. You understand? I shouldn't have had my eyes in the backfield and let that motherfucker run past me. Right? And even if for the sake of argument that there's a foul or a penalty against you type stuff, when you put yourself in the best positions, anything that tries to fuck you up won't fuck you up. I seen it 8 times out of 10. That when you put yourself in the best position to succeed, even if somebody comes in on some bullshit, you still end up doing what you're supposed to do. Understand? And the fact that you can't grab that, Democrats, that's why y'all lost. And that's why y'all gonna continue to lose.
That he really hadn't been sitting down for interviews. He hadn't been giving extended press conferences. And so I think that there is a real, there are still questions about what exactly happened there and who knew what and when they knew it.
Right. I mean, that is the real question. I mean, Van, I'd done an interview with him a few weeks before that. I didn't know, he was fine in that capacity, but you would imagine someone around him all the time, as many were, would have had a much different, perhaps, view. But, it all came down to many, many things, right? But when you look at the actual votes, it wasn't as if Trump suddenly surged in so many things. Yeah. It's that Democrats did worse. Monmouth went through just the blue states. Trump got an extra 280,000 votes this time versus last time, so he improved. Yep. But that's not the story. Look at this full screen. Yeah, Harris lost 3,339,404 votes.
Why the fuck do you think that is? Do you know why that is? Because them votes for Biden didn't even fucking exist. So miss me with that bullshit. But low key, we needed to have this experience, right? We needed to have this experience in order to appreciate, the way that a motherfucker does want to move us forward.
Yes. That's what stands out there.
Well, Bakari Sellers said over and over again, it's either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump or the couch. And Bakari was always worried about the couch. People just not feeling inspired enough to go out and vote. He wasn't worried that people were going to not vote for Kamala and go vote for Trump. He was afraid they weren't going to vote at all. And here's how we got beat. We got beat because the Republicans and the conservatives built a different media system that had to do with online, had to do with podcasts, had to do with streaming platforms, and they were spending their money there. We were laughing at them and knocking on doors in Philadelphia and Detroit. It's like, there's no Trump people. They're not dropping literature. They're not knocking on doors.
In fact, it was laughing like, oh, Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk, but their PACs don't know what they're doing. We were
making fun of Donald Trump for having thrown away his ground game and doing some weird stuff online. We thought that they were idiots. It turned out we were the idiots. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phones into 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. And so we got outflanked, outplayed, outbeat by people.
Man, y'all act like that y'all ain't on the fucking phones too. You already got, what's it called? You already got Facebook saying that they censor information and shit to basically affect the election. To affect the election, like they did that. For y'all. Like, man, I can't tell you how much, man, I've been censored so motherfucking much over the course of the last, what? Like I said, since I started this shit in 2018, just started talking my shit. Hell, even before that, I've been censored. Damn, Facebook got me back in like 2013. They took a whole shit from me and never gave it back. But I still get emails for it saying I got notifications to it, but it don't exist no more. So y'all been on that shit, man. It's just a matter of they're honest, right? Elon Musk and them are honest about what their intentions are. But y'all aren't. You lie all the time. You push division all the time while trying to say that we want to bring people together and, you know, it's an objective news station. All that. Man, it's not. How's it fucking objective if you're saying we lost? How the fuck are you objective when you're saying we lost? That's not objective. Objective is giving the facts and sitting, just putting your hands up and backing the fuck away. But no, like they said, y'all are activists. All of y'all niggas is activists.
People who told us the whole time that they knew what they were doing, and people are mad. And Future Forward, all these different groups that vacuumed up all this money and told everybody to sit down and shut up are going to be in for an accountability session from the grassroots, and it is coming.
I remember when you and I were speaking at one point earlier, you were talking about algorithms, all kinds of data that was available that you were, you know, people were going to be presenting to the Harris campaign.
Sure.
And I suppose you're going to say that did that fall on deaf ears to large part?
Yeah, Van's right. They were like, we've got it.
We've got it.
And they didn't have it. And one very obvious missed opportunity is that Joe Rogan has the biggest audience in the country. It's disaffected, low propensity men, kind of the audience that the Harris campaign should be trying to reach. It was much more upside than anything else. Kamala goes on, Tim Walz goes on, and then you have millions of men who are exposed to the Democratic message, and they turned it down because she was too busy. I mean, like it makes zero sense, except in the context that the team just didn't have confidence in her to do it, which would be its own issue.
Unless you think he's being mean. 48 million views for the Rogan-Trump interview on YouTube alone.
Which was what, a 3-hour interview?
A 3-hour interview with 48 million views.
I like that shit.
Like, they were laughing. Oh,
that's 2/3 of the total number of votes that Harris.
Yeah, so
it's more than the debate, I think. It's like 1 million.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, Lulu.
I mean, I'm very happy that everyone's talking here about the information ecosystem. Obviously, it's incredibly important. So is Joe Rogan. But there is two issues here. One is the message, and the other is the messenger. And so, and how those messages are delivered. And so, you know, there is a lot of discussion right now about the ground game and how you reach voters and all these things. And I think that's going to be parsed. But, you know, voters told the Democratic Party over and over and over again that their main issues were their pocketbooks, inflation, and immigration. And that was what they told them. And the closing message of the Democratic Party was democracy and Donald Trump is a bad man.
Right. Well, but is there any way that they could have won, though, with Kamala Harris with immigration on the issue, given that she was part of the Biden administration? But that was just never really defined.
Yeah, so two things. Number one, if you were going to run Kamala, then she needs permission to break from Joe Biden and say, hey, look, whatever the administration did, like I would have done things differently, and we're going to go this.
Like I said, she can't do that. She couldn't do that. That's a literal impossibility for her to be the last one to leave the room and still distance herself from this administration. That's why you can't, because whenever you already hold a position, right? Or, you know, some type of, a high level within, you know what I'm saying, the company, like if shit is fucked up and you're the number two, you have to separate yourself from number one in order to get the number one spot. You have to. But the fact that she never did and actually said she don't think that she would do anything different, like that lets you know the mentality behind these motherfuckers running this shit. That they don't give a fuck. And then even when you try to put yourself into a position, right, to make your life better, they find a way to shame you for it, right? And so I guess, yeah, that goes into this real quick because I just simply looked this up because it's very relevant and it's something that I've noticed. How, because you see the simple Google search, do narcissists accept losses, right? And as it reads, no, narcissists generally, struggle to accept losses and often react defensively when faced with them, attempt to minimize the loss, blame others, or even distort reality to maintain their inflated self-image. They may also become highly aggressive or vindictive in response to a perceived loss. So now, what the fuck is going on here with Trump's appointments and like I said, the racism fallout, the comments, the sexist comments coming out, like, it's like, man, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? You already tried this to get us to go this way, to go the way y'all wanted us to, and you lost. So it comes back to it that the narcissistic mind can't take a loss. That motherfucker will double and triple down, which is what they're doing. Let me see. Difficulty acknowledging the loss. Due to their grandiose sense of self, narcissists often find it hard to accept that they could lose something or someone important, which can lead to denial or rationalization. So now, they believe, as far as the legacy media believes, that their word is law, right? That they're presenting you facts that you have to run with, right? And they've drawn a line in the sand, you either with me or against me. Like how Michelle said, a vote for Trump is a vote against us type shit. So like that's the whole mentality, of the Democratic side and how they operate, right? Like, yo, they operate under a narcissistic ass mind. Because like I said, when you lose, your character is exposed. Hell, and even the same as when you win. Because you do got sore winners, sore losers, and all of that. But when you're unable, like, to actually reflect on why you lost and how you lost, because you can't even, it don't even fit in your mind that what happened was your fault. What transpired was your fault. Like, yo, I swear to God, you'll call a foul on a motherfucker, right? They will clearly grab or smack the shit out of somebody. You'll call the foul, you'll boop, fist up. Hey, yeah, we got to push 43. They over there shaking their head with their hands out like, what? Whole team saying, yeah, you fouled him, dude, shut up. But you got to argue. And I swear, you see them and they won't let that shit go. It'll eat away at them. And next thing you know, they done fouled out the game, or they out the game because they can't get their mind together because they can't accept the fact that they were wrong. I see it all the time. Coaches, same way. You see it all the time in regular everyday life. So then it comes to the next one. When a narcissist experiences a loss, it can trigger a narcissistic injury, causing significant emotional pain and a strong need to protect their ego. That's what these motherfuckers like on The View is going through, because nobody bought their bullshit, or the vast majority didn't buy their bullshit. That hurts them. That crushes them. That makes them feel like they ain't worth shit. Because how dare you not believe me? So since you didn't want to believe me before, I'm going to say it even louder next time. The fuck out of here. And blame shifting. Instead of taking responsibility for their role in the loss, narcissists might blame others, external factors, or even distort. Yeah, okay, yes, that blame shift to make themselves appear blameless. Like, come on, it's all in relationships. Narcissists might initially idolize the partner and then quickly devalue them when they perceive a threat or loss, lead to a pattern of on again, off again. Yeah. What is going on now with this hookup culture and all this other shit going on where people can't sit the fuck down and focus on shit, let alone be, in like regular, normal type relationships. Nah, that's because you're being led by, this narcissistic mind that's hanging over, you know what I'm saying, basically guiding you to your every thought. And in that vengeful behavior, when faced with a significant loss, narcissists may engage in vindictive actions to regain control or inflict pain on the person they perceive as responsible. Case in motherfucking point when it comes to all of these appointments. Case in motherfucking point. They say, this person ain't got the experience. They doing this. This Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent and all this stuff. Like, yo, no. You're projecting all of that shit onto them. You want to accuse a motherfucker of sex trafficking and all of that shit. Nah, y'all motherfuckers been doing the sex trafficking and been protecting motherfuckers doing that shit. That's why that Epstein list is important in the motherfucker, because motherfuckers on that list is scared. And you could tell. Especially when that's when you want to accuse a motherfucker that's about to be brought in to clean y'all the fuck up. Clean the house, man. Yo, I swear, they looked at like Trump's cabinet picks and all that stuff. Man, there's so many people my age. I'm 41. It's so many people my age on this bitch. Like, yo, that shit, cleaning house. The government needs audited. Yes. The government needs trimmed. Fucking yes. And then what we're seeing is like a shift into a situation where, like I said, common sense is actually going to win for a little bit. Common sense is going to win for a little bit. It's a great day for common sense right now. I will say that. Like being, you know what I'm saying, as far to the whatever side I've been on, it's nice to be in a common sense era for a hot second. I just ask people to embrace it, enjoy it, and it all boils down to, man, the Democrats as a whole, man, y'all lost because y'all full of shit. Y'all lost because you don't listen to people. Y'all lost because y'all cry too damn much about people that disagree with you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all lost because y'all sitting there trying to force people to feel a certain way, and if they don't, you shame them. Like, you lost because like yo, you don't give a fuck about our well-being. You don't. Because they got the covert and the overt, motherfucker. Y'all niggas have been covert for a long time now. And I'm glad somebody, actually has a voice, to make shit make sense. And, is, actually putting together a nice little squad to ensure that our lives here in this country aren't third world anymore. Because America done turned into that shit, man. How the fuck my Walmart can't be open at 24 hours and shit? Stores be closing at 11 o'clock, man. That shit's some third world shit, man. So yeah, man, y'all Democratic Party, man, y'all bullshit is confirmed, man. Take the loss, shut the fuck up, and actually listen to the people who beat you and tell you why you got beat.